So, I think it was probably last Wednesday that Pastor Jacob gave me a phone call. Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday. And when he asked me to do this, I was kind of surprised, I guess. I'm not exactly sure why, but... and I said, yeah, sure, whatever, I didn't really have any idea what I was going to talk about or any of that good stuff. So I kind of just went with it. And probably 2 days before, God finally showed me what I was going to be talking about, which God doesn't always work on our time frame. So that's, So Ben likes story time. I have story time too. My freshman year of high school, I was sitting in my English class, and we were playing a review game. And when it came to your turn to answer the question, you had to clap your hands. Well, my friend starts clapping her hands when it was her turn, and it was the bonus round. So, all the eyes are on my friend here to get this point, because if you get the point, then we all get extra credit, which is fun stuff. So, my English teacher, Mrs. Bird, just asked the question, and the question was, who was the author of the book Night? Night was one of the books that we had read. So Miss Bird called on her, and she started laughing, really hard, uncontrollably. And for a minute, a lot of us just kind of sat there wondering why the heck she was laughing, because there was really nothing funny about the question. So we're just sitting there, and I think it kind of all hit us at the exact same time why she had been laughing. We all knew the answer was Elie Wiesel. I think I pronounced that right. But she was laughing so hard she couldn't even get it out in time. Our teacher before she could even get it out, our teacher told her time was up. And as my friend and I were leaving class, my teacher, Mrs. Bird, pulled her aside and said, "You lost for your team." Her voice was kind of shaky. They were over by her desk, but I could hear what she said. And I know why the name Elie Wiesel made you think. I know why the name Elie Wiesel made you think of Ellie, didn't it? Everyone at my school knew who Ellie was. She smelled. She wore dirty old clothes that were always too small or too big and all ripped up. And she wasn't the smartest girl. When came to mind, I knew that she had been laughing at the idea of writing a book, because the same thought had crossed my mind. She doesn't deserve to be treated that way, I could hear Miss Bird tell my friend. What makes you think she's so unlovable, she doesn't even deserve simple respect? My friend didn't have an answer for her. Suddenly feeling all nasty and just realizing what I had thought and knowing I had done the same thing, the fact that I hadn't laughed out loud was the only difference. My friend apologized and we left. But one word stuck with me for days. I kept thinking, unlovable. I kept thinking about all the people in my high school, people including myself found unlovable. There were the quote-unquote losers, the mean kids, the mean girl who never passed up a chance to humiliate me. And then there were the bratty, annoying kids in my algebra class. I realized I even found some of these kids unlovable. But as a Christian, aren't we supposed to love them all? Perhaps Jesus' toughest teaching is to love your neighbor as yourself. And that's Mark 12:31 in the NIV version. It's easy enough to read this and say, oh yeah, I love everyone. until you really think about what it means to love everyone, until you really realize that everyone includes all those people that you consider to be unlovable. And you don't get to pick and choose. Everyone is your neighbor, whether you like it or not. The Bible says that Jesus dealt with everything we do. But were Jesus' expectations too high? Some of us may even have the thought, Jesus never had to go to high school. If he had, he wouldn't have said that, because he would have known some people just aren't lovable. But the thing is, Jesus lived on earth and probably knew his share of and mean girls, and he had little brothers. Just pointing that out. However, Jesus understood two important truths. Everyone is created in God's image. So if we are worthy of love, so is everyone else, because of who made them. And two, because of sin, we're all really unlovable. But Jesus changed that. He changed the rules by offering love, grace, forgiveness. That's Romans 5:8. If God can love us, surely we can love those around us. But how do we do it? Not exactly sure how long ago it was, but I heard a pastor give a sermon about John 3:13. It changed how I thought about treating people, the hard-to-love people around you. The main thing the pastor said that honestly just humbled me to a point of almost shame was at the Last Supper, Jesus was in the same room with a bunch of people about to betray him, deny him, and desert him. And he knew it. Now that's hard to love. But what did Jesus do? He got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the very towel that was wrapped around him. These guys didn't deserve his love or respect, and he chose to wash their feet. That's probably one of the most humbling experiences that a person could ever go through. Last summer, we went to a summer camp. And I remember having all of our counselors come and get all of us girls and take us into our cabin. And none of us knew what was going on. We thought we were in trouble. So, we all put on our cute little girl voices and smiled real big. But we went in there, and there were probably 60 of us girls all shoved into this one cabin. And we were all sitting down, and our counselors told us they were going to wash our feet. Now, we've been at camp at this point for like 2 days, so our feet are nasty. Nasty. I mean, they are covered in dirt and mud, and your toenail polish is all chipped because you've just been, it's just not a pretty thing. But our counselors went through all of us and washed each of our feet. And God did that for the disciples. Right here, Jesus shows how to love the unlovable. It's not just to tolerate them, or just not make fun of them, or to pretend you love them. We need to serve them. Here's why. Serving gives us an easy way to see how we should love. It's not just some mushy, hard-to-grasp emotion, but an action. Serving people has a way of changing the way we see them. If you are continually looking out for a way to help someone, it's really hard to think they're worthless. It's also really hard to stay mad at them or to think poorly of them. Of course, it'd be weird to whip out a towel and lather up some bully's feet. But serving them starts with praying for them. And then looking for opportunities. Maybe it's holding a door open when someone is carrying their band instrument or a handful of books. Or spotting someone a quarter when she's short for a soda. I wish I could say I helped her pick up her books when someone knocked them out of her hands. Or helped that bully jump his car. But I didn't. However, regretting those things helps push me to make the choice to serve. And believe me, there are a lot of them. Even right now, some of you are sitting here and you can think of one of these people in your lives. Galatians 5:13 puts it like this. It is absolutely clear that God has called you to a free life. Just make sure you don't use this freedom as an excuse to do whatever you want. Rather, use your freedom to serve one another in love. And that's from the Message Bible. But I'd like everybody just to sit for a sec and think, if there's an in your life, or a mean girl, or boy, just commit right now in your own heart, just commit to praying for them this week. And look for opportunities. Because if you ask God for opportunities, He'll give them to you. They're not always going to be the way you want them to be. And they're not always going to be easy. But there are always opportunities to love someone. Thank you.